So I'm Christine Boatwright, the creative director of Sparkler Magazine, and I'm here with Storm Shultz to talk about her writing and her flash fiction story and our latest issue, and maybe get a few answers for just to see where she is and what she's working on now. So, hi, Storm. Oh, welcome.
Hey,
Oh,
thank you for having me. How are you doing, Christine?
I'm doing great. It's just so fun to get to talk to like YA authors who are already like in the mix of it, who are
Mhm.
already doing what I keep calling like the good work, right? Like we're trying to come and like promote y'all and help because there's so many authors who are already out there who I feel like are doing the work, but are kind of like islands, right? Kind of on your own, like, and so it's
Yeah,
fun to see what's already happening and how we can join and help and um,
yeah. And I love what you guys are doing. It is definitely, I think, well needed. I see all the time in different groups where people are like, where are the YA stories and where are the clean or the Christian ones? And so, like, what you guys are doing is just awesome. And I'm so glad to be a part of it.
so we're excited. We're excited to be here and see what happens. So. All right, so I know you don't write only YA, but kind of tell us why you felt to write a book for teens regardless. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, so I have one YA book, and it's called Hey Jude Carpenter. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling set over like a church split in the South. It was actually the first book that I ever wrote, but it's like the third one that I ever published. And the more that I spent on it, like kind of refining and working on it, I just kept thinking, like, there just isn't very much Christian YA out there. And I know that as a young adult, as a teenager, I was just a voracious reader and I read everything and good, bad, and ugly, right? Like everything that I could get my hands on. And I'm like, I want a lot more of the good for my readers to grab a hold of and to share with their friends and with their or their teenagers, right? If it's a mom who's picking it up. So I would just love to kind of add a few more books into that hole that we are just for our readers who really just want more and more books.
I love that. So as the first book you wrote, what what inspired you to even jump into the writing world?
I have always, always loved to tell stories. Like I think I was like 6 or 7 when I realized like somebody has to make up these books that I love to read. Somebody's got to come up with them. And I started like coming up with all these stories. Um, and then I started writing like as a teenager, but they weren't they weren't great stories. They needed a lot of polishing. And then I got to college and I was majoring in creative writing. And I had one professor who was super encouraging, and she actually taught a like young adult fiction class. And it was the first time she'd ever offered the class. Like it's the first time the college had ever offered it. And I took it, and it was geared a little bit more towards teachers who were teaching to high schoolers. And I was one of the few that was like a writer. And she
Mhm.
was so excited and so encouraging. And I thought, like, well, I mean, if the adulty adult who has the jobby job can tell me that this is worth it, like maybe it is. And I started thinking about it more and praying about it. And then it was just like God laid the whole story out. And up until that point, I'd always just had like little chunks, like a scene or a title or a character in mind, but never like a full story. And so, partially from that encouragement of that professor who I just reconnected with like recently, I was like, I should reach out to her and tell her I wrote that book. Like, and she again was super encouraging and so sweet. Um, so I think God kind of used her to push me into the writing world officially because I had always loved the stories, but I just didn't have the encouragement outside of like my own family, who of course hyped me up to kind of push me into the world of writing. So
I was the one of yours that I've read. I know not YA, but called Meant to Be. And you have a thing with animals, which I'm thinking because I just shared that graphic where all the authors shared about their favorite animals, and you had like a list. Actually, I cut off your list with an ellipses because I was like, I don't have enough room to put all of your. So, do you specifically put animals in, or do they just kind of appear in your stories, or?
I think the first couple ones just sort of appeared, and now I mean they're pretty natural. Like my characters, I seem to like they seem to just pick up an animal as they go. And I grew up on a farm, so a lot of the animal stories are based off of real interactions or real things or things that I'm like, that could definitely happen in this setting. Um, so yeah, I have always loved animals, and the first couple ones just kind of popped up. Um, I want to think in one of my books, I had to work a little bit harder to try to figure out how to incorporate an animal, a Rose and West egg, because it's more of a murder mystery, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to bring in a comedic animal. And so the animal isn't particularly comedic, but there is still an animal.
That's really fun. I like that. Say, just there was a memorable like baby goat, or that's what I was
Yes.
thinking.
Yep. The baby goat, the bees.
But I loved your flash fiction story that you wrote for us. Like
Oh,
it made me
thank
laugh
you.
out loud. It was so fun. It's so
Again,
where I mean,
animals.
yeah, I mean, you're a pastor's wife, right? So I'm sure like it's set in a church, right? So you're no school, church,
No, it's a church. It's a
church, right?
VBS, and they're
Oh, that's
trying
right.
to have a safari, like a safari. Oh my gosh, what's the word? Company, I
Yeah,
guess maybe.
like
I'm totally blanking on the word now, but they come
traveling
and
zoo. Yeah.
yeah, a traveling safari come and show the kids animals, and animals get loose, which has luckily not happened at my church. But I have been to enough traveling safaris, like at the library, with almost incidences that I'm like, this could very easily you
For
could very
sure.
easily have a couple animals get loose. Like it would not be hard, especially if you've got one or two curious children that, and an unattentive um, like person leading the safari lesson.
No, and when the kid chucked the cage, I was like, yeah, that's fair. Like,
Fair. If you had a tarantula drop into your hand, you'd probably
I
chuck
know
it too.
you throw it too. I thought that was so fun. Thank you for writing for us. I loved
Yeah,
it. So
it's so I'm so I love flash fiction so much, and I know there are a few opportunities out there, but I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like get back in touch with all my YA roots and like
yeah.
write something for this.
Well, and it's tough, and like we're always looking for a featured author for our issues, and we're like, just because you are even a best-selling or award-winning author doesn't mean that you know how to write 1,000 word like complete story. Like it's its own
Yeah.
beast. So it's
Yeah,
a challenge.
it can be very hard. And I think that a lot about like children's books. Like I love the idea of writing a children's books, but once I get to like actually writing it, I'm like, there's you don't have enough space.
No,
Like
I
you have to
know.
keep it short.
Yes. I started with picture books and like has to be below 500 words and you're like, "Oh no." That's 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 really
That's not
difficult.
many words. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I
Yes,
can't
thank
wait
you.
to share about you and your journey and everything going on.